Okay. Today's training session is tapping into U.S. government information. I am your instructor for today. My name is Nancy Housel, and I am a librarian here at the Department for Libraries and Archives. My job duties relate to the state library for the most part, and I sort of serve as a trainer and liaison to two of our primary customer groups, state government employees and public library staff. With me today is librarian Kim McDaniel. Kim is on the reference staff here, and she will be monitoring the chat box in the corner. So if you have questions or comments that she feels I need to address or take notice of, she will be flagging me down. I think she's doing a cheer, but she'll be trying to catch my attention. Also, if at any point you start experiencing any technical difficulties, especially with the sound, you can use your chat box to let us know about that, and Kim will do her best to find a solution for the problems. So that lets us know, let you know who we are. In the description on the training events calendar for today, I said that there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of federal government and government-related websites that we can access through the internet today. And of course, if you're trying to track down one piece of information, that can be an overwhelming task, to say the least. So what we are going to try to do today is, our goal is to look at some of the top federal government sites that I think everybody should know about. These are either because the topics, of a wide interest to the population, or because they offer good user experiences, and definitely these are websites that can help you find what you need quickly, easily, and efficiently. So we're going to jump right into this. So actually, when we think about government websites, there are really three types of websites. So each agency in the government has its own specific website. So if we wanted to find out what was going on with President Trump in the White House, and there seems to be a lot going on all the time, then we would want to go directly to the website for the White House, which is whitehouse.gov. If we were looking for something related to farming or agriculture, then we could go directly to the Department of Agriculture's website, which is USDA.gov. Some government websites are simply a directory, much like an online phone book, where we see lists of names and addresses or contact information. And we're going to see an example of one of these related to the members of Congress. And then there are some websites which we call portals, which is essentially brings a lot of information together in one spot, so that if you kind of don't know where to start, if you use the portal, you get a lot of help in locating where you might need to go for a particular source of information. And we're going to look at an example of that in USA.gov. So let's start off first with an agency-specific website, and I've chosen the one in the example from the previous slide, and that is from the Department of Agriculture. Now, each agency's website, of course, is going to be a little bit different, but there are some characteristics that they all have in common. And the first is almost every government website, not just specific agency websites, are going to have a search box, usually in the upper right-hand corner of the web page. And so you can see that little white box there with the magnifying glass. If you know specifically what you're looking for, you could type it in there and you would get a list of results that hopefully you could click on to get the information that you need. Usually across the top there is a list of topics. This is what you see kind of in the blue banner line across there. This one says topics, and if you put your cursor there, you get a drop-down menu of a number of topics that make up sections of this website. So you can look through there and pick one that comes closest to what it is you're looking for. And then kind of at the bottom of the slide there, our topic list kind of hides the first part of it. But a lot of individual agency websites kind of has a, I am looking for, and then again gives you a drop-down list of things. It might be, I think in this case, on the slide it says, I'm looking on how to start a farm. And usually this list is drawn from the analysis that the government agency has done about what people are looking for on its websites. So, it could be things related to filling out applications. It could be related to, figuring out how to apply for a grant or how to see about benefits, this sort of thing. So at the bottom of the agriculture's homepage, then you might get some information related to either any special projects or any publications or any current research that is being done. So in this case, you see that they are highlighting things related to the media, to disasters, resource center. I chose to circle and read the 2017 Census of Agriculture, which gives a lot of statistical information about agriculture across the country. And then you see they have a space where you can interact with an expert at the Department of Agriculture. Also notice that individual websites usually have a link where you can sign up for an electronic newsletter or email alerts. This could be, press releases, announcements of new publications or new initiatives. So certainly, this might be something you want to be interested in or alert your patrons to if you are in a community where farming is important. So this is typical of individual agency websites. And of course, down at the very bottom, those whole little list of symbols that starts with the blue Twitter and goes, I don't even know that I know what all those stand for. But those, of course, represent the social media platforms where you can also get information from this government agency. So as you can see, just from the home page, there's a lot of help given here in order to keep people up to date on what's going on in the Department of Agriculture. So that's a sample of the kinds of things you can find from an individual government agency. Okay, so here's an example of a directory. So I mentioned directory websites being something similar to a phone book. So this comes from the House of Representatives, which is one of the two houses of Congress. And as you can see here, we do have a couple of shortcuts. Notice we still have that search box in the upper right-hand corner that you could type in a specific name of a person or place that you're looking for. But notice we also have a shortcut we can use, and that if we want to know the name of our congressman, we can put in our zip code in the little search box by the map there, and it would take us to the information that would match our zip code. So notice we have the option here. We've got the alphabet there. Notice we have the option where we can search by state. So if I wanted to search for Kentucky, then I just click on the K. Or if we know the name of our congressman and so we just want his address because we want to visit his office for advocacy reasons, or because we just want to pop in and say hello, or because we're going to be in the DC area, then you can just, if we click on that option by last name, we get an alphabetical listing of all the congressmen. So here you can see I chose to choose I chose Kentucky option, and so my congressman for where I live is Andy Barr. And notice the information it gives us here besides his name. We get the number of his congressional district. It gives us the political party that he's affiliated with. We get the physical location of where his office is, and those letters there represent the name of the office building. We get a phone number, and lastly we see the committees that he is been assigned to. So even though a directory pretty much just gives us name and contact information, we still get quite a bit other information there as well. Okay, so probably of all that we've seen so far, probably the most important to remember is the portal USAgov. This is the official online guide to the U.S. government. So some things I want to point out. Notice at the arrow that this is also available in Spanish. There is also a version of this just for kids that you can click on. So notice we have our search box still in the at the very top. We have a series of topics where if we put our cursor there, we get drop-down menus. Again, the topics there is a way to organize the information so we can have an easier time finding what we might need. And then again, we see in the center there in the big blue stripe that they give us some help for things that they know are popular searches on that site. So people who are interested in getting information about passports, those wanting information about jobs, wouldn't necessarily have to go through the drop-down menus at the top. Okay, so why is it a good thing to have USA.gov on your library computers? Well, as I said, it is the official online guide to U.S. government. One thing is that you can browse by topic. There are hundreds of articles, taken all across from different government websites that you can click through or access by looking through the USA.gov list of topics. Another thing that is good about USA.gov is that it searches only government websites, primarily federal websites, but also many state and local government websites as well. It only gives you results from government web pages. So those would be pages that end in .gov or .mil. Now this is a way to make sure that you're getting official information that you can trust without any advertising. So when you type in a search, your initial search will return results from a variety of government websites. And so it gives you the options where you can narrow those results down by clicking only those things that are on USA.gov. There's an option if you only are looking for photos, and there's an option if you're only looking for videos. Another thing important about USA.gov is that it does give you a list of all the different government agencies. So if you know the agency you want to get in touch with, but you aren't sure of what its web address is, then you can use USA.gov's A to Z index of U.S. government departments and agencies. So this gives you contact information and web addresses for hundreds of federal agencies, departments within those agencies, and all the other divisions. And another thing I like about USA.gov is that if you need help, there are lots of ways to get it. One is that there's an option to click so that you can kind of do an online chat during the weekdays with a real person. So it's kind of like a live chat with a subject specialist or a reference librarian where you can interact online to get your questions answered. There's sort of like an Ask an Information Specialist service where you can kind of email something and they will respond by email once your question has been received. And of course, there's a toll-free number that you can call for information as well. So lots of good things there that makes this a must-know government website. So what we're going to do for the rest of the time is we're going to look at some websites by areas of interest. So these are websites that I'm kind of picking because they have lots of information to share, not only for you, your family and friends, but also the customers or patrons that come into your library. So the first one we're going to look at are websites related to government benefits, grants, or loans. So the first one I'm going to look at is Benefits.gov. So before this website was created, if you wanted to know about government benefits, you had to search many, many different web pages, and chances are you still wouldn't find exactly what you were looking for. So Benefits.gov here was created so that all benefit information that helps citizens would kind of be in one place, and this would be where the average person could go to find out what programs they might be eligible for and how to apply for them. So Benefits.gov pulls information from across 17 different federal agencies. So the main thing I want to point out here is that there is an eligibility pre-screening questionnaire. You can see it there in the orange tab in the upper right-hand corner. Notice it says State Benefits Finder. So if you click on that, you get a questionnaire that you can answer, questions that provides information about your situation. And then what it does is it compares your information to all the different criteria from the agencies that it pulls from, and can give you a list of programs that you might be eligible to apply for in order to receive benefits from the federal government. So once you go through the questionnaire and get the results, then you get a list of the programs that goes on to explain what you need to do to apply for that benefit program. So it also features a recommendation engine that will customize the user search based on your location or interest in a particular category. So when I did my research for this, I searched, I think, using Kentucky, and noticed that in the middle there it gives me a list of other related state sites in Kentucky that I might want to go in order to look and see if I might be eligible for benefits from that program. So again, lots of different ways to search, but most important, we can find out, get a list of federal and may possibly state agencies where we might be eligible for benefits, and can give us links and information on how to apply for that. Okay, so in this section we are also, besides benefits, we said we'd look at grants and loans. So just want to make sure we understand what the difference is between grants and loans. So a grant is one of the ways our federal government funds ideas and projects for public services and to help stimulate the economy. So this could be for economic recovery, it could be for research projects, a number of domestic programs. For example, it might be grants to state and local governments or to universities, to a researcher, to law enforcement. All right, so big organizations. So despite what you might hear on the radio, what you might see on the internet, or what you might hear late at night on TV, the government does not, okay, get it, does not give grants to individuals. You know, there's no free money that goes out to individuals, not to start a business, not to cover their personal experiences. It doesn't exist. Okay? So, you know, if you feel like you have, you know, bought a book about grant money, free grant money, or, you know, you've called in and you've gotten information, you were dissatisfied or thought you'd been scammed, then you really need to file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. Or you can contact your state consumer protection office, because the government does not give grant money to individuals. You know, the federal government gives grant money, you know, to our state government, and then the state government funnels that money out, you know, to various programs like food stamps or, you know, Medicaid or something like that. You know, it doesn't go directly to individuals. Anyway, grant money is money that does not have to be paid back. Loans are different. Loans can be awarded to an individual as a personal benefit or for personal assistance, but people are required to pay back the loans, often with interest. So an example of a government loan to individuals would be things like student loans for college, housing loans, the kinds of loans we get when there are big disasters, home improvement loans, and loans for small businesses. Okay, but let's be clear. Grants don't pay back. That goes only to big institutions or governments. Loans, you do have to pay back with interest for a specific reason, and that can be given to individuals. Okay. So one of the things that we need to know about is the catalog of federal domestic assistance. You know, I have been on the front desk when somebody came in with information like, I want to know about government grants related to, and they give a topic. You know, where can I find information on grants that have to do with farming or sheep or, you know, domestic abuse? You know, things of that sort. And, you know, sometimes, you know, especially in a small library, you know, you're kind of fumbling around to figure out where you can send them and for them to get a lot of good information. And the Catalog of Federal Domestic Assistance is one place you definitely want to mention, because the CFDA provides a full listing of all federal programs available to state and local governments, to recognized Indian tribe governments, you know, to a lot of public, you know, semi-public, private, profit, and non-profit organizations and institutions. Okay, so all the programs that offer some kind of money, whether it be grants or loans, are listed in this database. So it could be money for an activity, a program, for offering a specific service, for a research project, for creating a process, whatever you want to call it. If it has government money attached to it, it is going to be listed in this catalog of federal domestic assistance. So, you know, it could be a transfer of money, it could be use of government property, getting a government service to cover a certain situation, anything of value, not just money. If it comes from a benefit or assistance program, or, you know, money is given for whatever it is you're looking at, it is going to be in this database on this website. So, you know, a wealth of information, a lot of information. So, you know, if you are new to this, then you may be a little intimidated by the amount of entries, you know, that is possible. But notice that there is a public user manual there under the big word recovery. So you can either look at that online, or it is available in PDF format. You could print it if you wanted to. There's also a link to it at the bottom of the page. So notice in the bigger box on the right there, you can see that you can search by a keyword. You can search by the type of assistance, whether you're looking for a grant or a loan, or you can search by a specific program number, maybe in a news article or some kind of government newsletter. You've seen a notice about a new program or service, and they give a CFDA number. If you have that number, then you can plug it in and go directly to the information for that number. Okay, so what I chose to do was to do a assistance type. I picked training as the topic I wanted to use since we're doing training. So when I put in training as my topic of program, then you can see you get a list of results. So all of these things here relate to programs that offer some type of government assistance, loan, money, grant, consultants that relate to training somehow. So I picked the one that says weights and measures. So if you click on the little folder there, then what you get is all the information you want to know about that particular government program. So you can see, it tells you what the program, what the objectives are, the type of assistance that it gives, and then it kind of goes through, kind of what your obligations are, or what that money can and cannot be used for. In this case, this was for users to get information on weights and measures, people like counselors, meteorologists, that sort of thing. And then it goes on, if we went on and scroll down the page, it would give us requirements for eligibility, and it would give us information on where to go to apply for this particular program. Okay, so let's move on. So we talked about grants being money given to large institutions and government agencies for assistance in big projects. So this is the government's free official website, grants.gov. There are other commercial websites out there where you can kind of do the same information, but they charge you a fee for doing the work for you. But with a little bit of time and effort, you can, get the information yourself without having to pay a fee. So grants.gov pulls information from more than 1,000 government grant programs, and so you can start here to help locate and find grants that you might need. So one of the things that this website does provide is something called a Grants Learning Center, which essentially is kind of like a starting primer for what's involved in grant, tips on grant writing, things of that sort, of a glossary of terminology, what some of the government policies are. So notice it has this special red box here where it says apply for a grant with Workspace. So what they've recently done is kind of created a module where you can kind of set up a personal account. Essentially, it leads you through the application process so that you have one place where you can kind of keep all your information together online. So you can search based on a particular topic. So in this case, I searched using, it looks like libraries. And so what I did, and of course, the blue arrows are pointing out all the different options that you can choose in order to expand or to narrow your search. So my results here between the light blue lines are all the programs, all the grant programs offered that have something to do with libraries. And so you can take your time and work through those and see what may apply there for your situation. Okay, so once you locate something, then you can use this workspace in order to work through the application process. Okay, so there's a similar website for loans. govloans.gov sort of is your one-stop shop for government loans. Again, there are other commercial sites out there that may charge a fee for the same type of information or application forms, but you can do it free from this site. So this gives you information on loans related to agriculture, business, disaster relief, education, housing, and for veterans. So there's an online pre-screening tool that you can use that will kind of help you know what you might be eligible for before you get too involved in the process here. And just keep in mind that each type of loan may have its own application process. Okay, so let's move on and talk about jobs and unemployment. So a couple of websites I want to point out to you here is CareerOneStop.org. Now notice this is one of a related government website that doesn't use a GOV extension on its URL. I think that's because this kind of one-stop website is sponsored by 2 or 3 different government agencies. But this is an excellent site for career exploration, for job training, and looking for jobs. So there's a career center that helps people find a career that's right for them. So a lot of self-assessments. It gives details for almost 900 different careers. And so you can use the information here to develop your own career development plan. It offers various ideas of where to find training that fits your needs. There are calculators where you can use to come up with the cost of the training expenses, and then it gives you places on where you might find help to pay those expenses. There offers special resources for specialized groups. You kind of see that down towards the bottom there. I highlighted one for those who have a criminal conviction and for those with disabilities. So offers special information for those people who may have special problems in locating work. There's help with resume writing, and there are actually postings for specific jobs that you can access. Okay, so one of the other sites related to job searching and training is from the Department of Labor, Employment, and Training Administration. So this is a department that is dedicated to providing training, employment, and labor market information and information on how you can maintain your income. So this is the agency that administers federal government job training and worker dislocation programs. What they do is they give federal grant money to states for public employment service and unemployment benefits. Services are mainly provided throughout the state and local government workforce development systems. Yeah, if we have a question out there, have any of you used these sites before? Feel free to answer that question while I go on. Okay, so another website that you might want to know about for small businesses, owners who come in looking for help, is from the Small Business Administration. A lot of you may have volunteers from this agency that comes into your library throughout the time, maybe during tax time especially. But this is an agency of the government that gives a lot of information both on how to start a business as well as to manage your business once you have it started. So this agency has an extensive network of field offices and partnerships across the country. And like I say, occasionally I see where volunteers come in and offer to have sessions or do workshops in our public libraries. So just like our other websites, notice there's a lot of information based on different topics. And notice here we can see that dual purpose of information on what to do if you want to start a business, as well as what to do if you already are in business and want to grow. And I started to say everybody's favorite website, but I thought lightning might strike me. I don't think anybody likes the IRS. It strikes fear in the hearts of everybody, I think. But the Internal Revenue Service does have a part of its website that is dedicated to small businesses and to those that are self-employed. Now, somewhere in my career, I heard that most individuals who, start a business and, for some reason have to close is because they got in trouble over government rules are, not paying, their government taxes or something along that way. Again, the IRS is somebody you do not want, on your, you don't want them looking over your shoulder because, you've made a mistake. So this is certainly one place where you can go and get information about regulating the taxes and, paying things like your employees' Social Security and that sort of thing. All right, here are some other business sources. Notice there's one out there just to help veterans who want to create or open their own business. There's one related to helping minorities start businesses, and there are websites on various topics like the Occupational Health and Safety Administration, or OSHA. There's information there if you're looking for information about office safety. Okay, money. Okay. Oh, here's our friend, the Internal Revenue Service again. Notice we're kind of skimming through some of these. I hope that you will spot something and we'll go back and, investigate what is there for. We put the Internal Revenue Service as an icon on our computers here at the State Library, right about at the end or at the start of a new year, because we do not get tax forms here at the State Library. So when people come in wanting tax forms, then we tell them to click on the icon and they can print the forms off from the IRS website. And that's what you see highlighted in the red text box. This is where you can go to find forms as well as print instructions. Now, I know a lot of the larger public libraries still get federal forms sent to your library. But if you're a small library and you can't afford to do that, then you want to make sure that you know where to refer people when they come in looking for federal forms. And then, of course, there's a lot of information there about being safe from scams and from identity theft. And I don't know, have any of you ever gotten a scam phone call, saying that, they've been trying to contact you because you owe money to the IRS? Okay, so there's something on here about that scam. Okay, so another useful website is mymoney.com. This is offered by the Federal Financial Literacy and Education Commission, which is made up of from 20 other federal agencies and organizations. And so the idea here is to help Americans become financially literate. So they offer a lot of information based on 5 principles that you see there in the picture that looks like a plant. So it offers information about earning money, about how to save and invest money, how to protect your money, how to make wise decisions in spending your money, and then informing you on what is involved if you choose to borrow money. Okay, so lots of information there. Life events, special information for those who are like buying a home for the first time, start having children, going off to college. And there's a resources page where you get things like calculators where you can calculate cost of something and see how much expenses are involved in some of these life events. Okay, so something else I wanted to point out to you is the Consumer Action Handbook. This is a free resource guide that gives general information on why shopping for goods and services and tips about consumer rights. You can get a free copy of this by requesting a printed copy online. You can download a digital copy from a PDF, or you can request one by mail, and this is also available in Spanish. So lots of information here. Hopefully this is large enough where you can kind of see some of the topics covered. The one thing, if you wanted to offer or did offer financial literacy workshops on any age group, but specifically for adults at your library, all this information is in the public domain so that you can lift information from this in order to prepare pamphlets or handouts for your own financial literacy workshops. Okay, so here are some other helpful websites related to money. If you have trouble with a bank, you can go to the Federal Reserve site there and file your complaint about a financial institution. You can go to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Product recalls. This site tells you can put in a product and it will pop up and tell you what items have been recalled. There's also a way to put in complaints about certain products that can lead to an investigation. And my personal favorite, which I have been looking at a lot since it's almost that time for me, is this website from Social Security about retirement. Okay, so the last section we're going to look at real quickly has to do with health information. Having worked at the front desk, I have been on the receiving end of people coming and saying, I had got this diagnosis and I want to learn more about it, or my kid has this, disease or this syndrome and I want to learn all I can about it. And, that's kind of a hard thing to do because you don't want to give them information that may be outdated. You don't want to give them information from websites that sort of have a bias towards a particular product. So these are good websites to steer people to when they are looking for general information written so that an average person can understand as opposed to a professional person. So the one that you can recommend to your patrons is healthfinder.gov. This is a website that offers information and tools that helps the average person to stay healthy. It has resources on a wide range of health topics taken from over 1,400 government and nonprofit organizations. So the information you would find on this is usually best, most reliable health information that you can find on the internet. And so notice you've got your search box where you can put in the particular thing that you're looking for, like maybe ADHD or bipolar or, whatever. Or you can use the A to Z index of topics in order to get where you need to be. And of course, you've got lots of other choices and shortcuts that you can make use of. Okay, so HealthFinder is kind of more for the average person. Medline Plus is probably more for the medical professional that might come to you looking for information on a particular thing. So maybe a little bit more above, what the average, John Q. public citizen might want. But notice, even so, that from the Medline Plus homepage, you still have that search box in the upper right-hand corner. That's pretty, again, a pretty stable staple of all government websites. And then you kind of have that list of topics that you can click on. Notice we have a list of health topics. We have information about prescription drugs and nutritional supplements, as well as videos and other informational tools. And this is kind of what a search looks like. So you can click on a letter of the alphabet and it gives you a list of things, or you can use the body systems list and other topics down here in order to go to a kind of like a table of contents for each of those sections. Okay, so there are other health information websites. There are government websites related to specific conditions. So there is a government website for Alzheimer's, as well as a website related to all things related to mental health. There are websites that are geared towards particular demographic or population groups, such as the National Institute on Aging. And a big thing in the news lately is health insurance. There are government websites out there that are keeping on top of the situation, healthcare.gov and medicare.gov. That is close to our time for today. Just want to remind you that if you're ever in a position where you need to locate a government publication, you need to locate where something is on a government website, or what government website is best for what you're looking for, what you're trying to help a patron with, that we are always here to help. Regardless of what you're needing, we try to steer you in the right direction. So you can call us by phone. Our direct number there is listed, but we also have a toll-free number in order to save you that long-distance charge. If it's something that isn't time-sensitive, you can send us an email through the Ask a Librarian information request form, and you can see that link there. As we come to a close, remember you can check the continuing education events calendar for other KDLA